Hello students, and welcome to the subject of environmental science. We are dealing with unit number 1, and this is the part 3 of unit number 1A, that is environment, right? In the previous lectures we have studied what is environment, we have studied the importance of environment, and we have also seen the definitions of the environment, right? In the previous lecture we have also taken up with the types of environment, and in this lecture we will be studying further. So here, as you can see it on the slide, there are the contents available. It is 1, 2, 3, that is up till 3 we have completed. We have done with introduction, we are done with definitions, and we have also completed with the types and structure of environment, right? If we call about the types, how many types of environment are there, then basically we can say that there are 4 types. It is physical environment, social environment, psychological environment, and biological environment that we have already seen in the previous lecture. If you go further, it is the content in the form of scope, biogeochemical cycle, 6th concept of ecology, and ecosystem. Right now in this lecture what we will be doing is, in this session we will be dealing with the scope or components of environment. As we come to that portion, I shall explain the whole thing in quite depth and clarity. So let us go ahead, and before going ahead I'll just refresh the few things that is the basic thing, and once the basic things are clear you'll be able to relate whatever we are talking right now in this session, right? So in the previous session we have discussed what is environment, its importance and definition, and also the types of environment we have seen, right? Let us refresh it one more time. What is environment? If a question arises now, then you should be very clear about the answer. The answer would be anything that surrounds us, anything that encircles us. જે આપણી આજુબાજુ, જે આપણી આસપાસ જેટલી વસ્તુ છે એ તમામ વસ્તુને આપણે એન્વાયરમેન્ટ તરીકે ગણાવી શકીએ છીએ. બટ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ ઇઝ વેરી વેરી વાઇડ. સો ઇટ ઇઝ નોટ ધ ફિઝિકલ થિંગ્સ ઓર ધ ટેન્જિબલ થિંગ્સ વિચ વી કેન સી. આપણે જે જોઈ શકીએ છીએ એ જ ફક્ત આપણું એન્વાયરમેન્ટ નથી. જે નથી દેખાતું એ પણ આપણને સરાઉન્ડ કરે છે, એન્ડ દેટ ઇઝ ઓલ્સો અ પાર્ટ ઓફ environment that we have already seen. It is the French word, and it has come up from the word environ, and then we call it environment in the local sense, right? It consists of all the living components like plants, animals, and also the non-living things. Means anything that surrounds us. It's not only the nature that surrounds us is called the environment. Anything that is living, non-living, living things are all the types of animals, or maybe the plants or men or any living organism. And non-living thing can be air, water, mountains, glaciers, anything that is present in the nature that can be said as non-living, but we are surrounded with it, and that is why it becomes more or less the part of the environment, right? Again, it is all those things that directly affects, or it is directly dependent on the survival. That means for the survival we directly depend on such a kind of environment, and that is what is said to be the environment that we have already seen earlier, right? If we move ahead, then popularly environment for some people is nature, as I told you, but when everything, it is a sum total of everything that means human, non-human, living, that is biotic, abiotic, all these factors when come up together, it brings us the environment to us, and it affects us in one or the other ways. It affects us. We have seen in the previous lecture that it increases the efficiency or it decreases the efficiency. It even affects the physique or body, or maybe the whole built up of the person or any organism. That is why it is said that environment is such a thing that affects all of us, and that is why all those factors or elements present around us will influence us. એ આપણને આપણા પર પ્રભાવ મૂકે છે, આપણને પ્રભાવિત કરે છે, and in one or the other ways we are getting affected. So wherever we are getting affected with whatever element, that becomes our environment in short, right? Let us go ahead. We know by now that the environment refers to anything that is immediately surrounding an object and exerting direct influence on us, right? The environment by which man is surrounded and affected are all the types that we have seen earlier. That means in the previous lecture we have checked out that all the physical environment, maybe the social environment, maybe the psychological environment or biological environment, when comes up together, it affects us in one or the other ways, and that is why it becomes the environment in short, right? So environment consists, but environment also consists of four elements. What are those four elements or components, which we call it as atmosphere, maybe hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere? They are considered to be the chief components of the environment, which is basically soil, water or air, right, present in any form around us, that makes the component of environment. These all provide all with us with the different type of resources and helps us to lead a comfortable life. That means if we want to live comfortable life, then we need to have these elements present with us. It may be air, it may be water, or it may be any organism around us which helps us to have the comfortable life. And these three life, or these three important components, are gas, water and soil, which we get it from atmosphere, we get it from hydrosphere and we get it from lithosphere. And these important three components, air, that is gas, water and soil, that makes us three components, but it can be divided into four zones, and that is what we will be seeing it further. There is a continuous interaction. That means, see, something what we are dealing right now is component means the elements of the whole environment. That means elements means જેનાથી environment બનેલું છે. તો જ્યારે આપણે જેનાથી environment બનેલું છે એની વાત કરીએ છીએ, તો there is continuous interaction એટલે એકબીજા સાથે એક યા બીજી રીતે એ જોડાયેલું છે, એ એકબીજા સાથે સંકળાયેલું છે. And then that is why it makes, or it comes into existence as four zones. That means atmosphere, lithosphere, હાઇડ્રોસ્ફિયર, અને જ્યાં આ ત્રણેય વસ્તુ ઇન્ટરેક્ટ થાય છે, એકબીજા સાથે સંપર્કમાં આવે છે, જેમાં જીવ છે, પ્રાણ છે, બાયો, that is said to be biosphere, right? And that is how four zones are created. These interaction involves the transport of various elements. હવે આ ઇન્ટરેક્શનમાં થાય છે શું? તો there is transport of various elements, compounds and energy forms. That means one energy transmits into the next one and to the other one. There are various elements and compounds coming into contact with each other. That means one or the other ways you get into contact with this three spheres. That means three things or three elements together, and where you get into contact with it, it is said to be, that area is said to be biosphere. When we come to the further portion, we will try to see this thing in quite a detail, right? These zones are explained as under, as I told you, and they are known as components or scope of environment. Mind you, when it comes to types of environment, there are four types: physical, social, psychological and biological, which we have studied in the previous lecture, right? The previous session rather. And in this session what we are dealing with scope. What is the extent of environment? આપણે પહેલાં કહ્યું કે environment છે બહુ વિશાળ વસ્તુ છે, it is very wide thing, right? Everything that surrounds us, એ બધાને જ આપણે ધ્યાનમાં લેવું હોય તો એ definitely the area is very wide. And at that time when you have the wide area, એ scope છે, અને જેનાથી આ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ, એ સ્કોપથી આ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ બનેલું છે, કોમ્પોનન્ટ્સ કહી શકાય અને પાર્ટ્સ કહી શકાય. સો ઇન any of the ways, if the question is asked that what is the scope of environment, or explain the components of environment, types of environment, then we can give the four important components that we are going to study today. But types hoy so that comes to physical, social, psychological and biological, which we have studied yesterday or maybe in the previous lecture, right? So that is what is the component that we'll be studying quite in detail. Keep your pencils and books with you, so that 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever topics we are completing, and if the subtopics that are included in each one can be noticed by you, can be very well taken up by you, and it becomes easy for you to go through those topics with your video lectures, right? So it is very important that you have the books and pens with you to complete and to understand these particular things. All right, let us go ahead. Here, as you can see, the scope, components and parts has been divided into four parts. Atmosphere, mind my pronunciation, it is atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. Atmosphere is concerned with air, hydro is always concerned with water, Lithosphere is solid thing. That means it is concerned with soil or hard rocks or land, right? And biosphere, bio means life. I told you in the previous sessions also that anything which starts with bio means life, which has life in it. Then it is when we call it biosphere, that means it is this sphere where it has got the life. And when it is not a separate thing, see, the above three, that means atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, yes, we can study it differently and they are different component altogether. But when we are talking about biosphere is anything in which there is interaction, when we can make the interaction, where we can join these three things together and life exists, that is what is called biosphere, right? One by one we will be seeing with the inner component, that what is atmosphere, how it has come up, and likewise. So let us begin here. If you can see the picture here, this picture has been taken from the Encyclopedia Britannica company, right? The site is that, and thanks to the courtesy that we could use the picture here. See, if you see the picture, you can see three to four colors, right? It is light blue color, it is say purple color, you can see the green color, and you can even see the skin color. These all colors tells you about the different zones or different components. If you see it, you can see the mountain with the green color, it has been shown as biosphere. Just below that there is skin color, that is sand color, right? That has been denoted as the lithosphere. When you can see the ocean part, that is blue in color, that is hydrosphere, because we consider the color of though the water has got no color, it's colorless, right? We can consider it. Generally when we want to denote color, we use sky blue color with it. So it is the sky blue color that tells us. And the atmosphere, which is nearly purple and dark blue in color, right? So these tells us that when these coexist એટલે એક સાથે જ્યારે આ ત્રણેય સ્ફિયર, એટમોસ્ફિયર, માઇન્ડ યુ, લિથોસ્ફિયર એન્ડ હાઇડ્રોસ્ફિયર, આ ત્રણેયનું જ્યાં એક ઇન્ટરેક્શન, એકબીજા સાથે જોડાણ થાય છે, તો એકબીજા કોઈક ને કોઈક પર્પઝને લીધે એકબીજા સાથે જોડાયેલું અથવા મળે છે, દેટ બીકમ્સ ધ પાર્ટ ઓફ બાયોસ્ફિયર. એ જે એરિયા છે, જે રિમ છે, જે ઝોન છે, એને આપણે બાયોસ્ફિયર કહેતા હોય છે. સો ધીસ ઇઝ વેરી અટ્રેક્ટિવ say picture that we can use it here, right? Okay, now let us begin with atmosphere. What is atmosphere? In simple words, it is considered as a layer of gases surrounding the earth. અર્થને, આપણા પૃથ્વીને, જે આખો પૃથ્વીના ગોળાને જે આખું એક આખું લેયર છે, જે ગેસનું લેયર છે, એરનું લેયર છે, જે જુદા જુદા પ્રકારના ગેસીસનું લેયર છે, એ જે સરાઉન્ડ કરે છે, એને આપણે જનરલી એટમોસ્ફિયર કહેતા હોય છે. ઇન અ લેમેન્સ લેંગ્વેજ વી કોલ ધીસ એઝ એટમોસ્ફિયર. We all know that oxygen is very important for the survival of living organisms, right? Again, growth of plant is possible because of carbon dioxide in air. We know these simple facts very easily, that we cannot survive without oxygen. The oxygen is present in atmosphere. The plants can't survive without carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is present again in atmosphere, right? And these gases are present in atmosphere, which affects all the human beings and plants. That means, just imagine, if there would have not been atmosphere, there would have not been the presence of oxygen, carbon dioxide and many more gases with which we are able to survive. આ કોઈ પણ gases નું ક્યાંય અસ્તિત્વ જ ન હોત, એનું ક્યાંય it would have not got its place. So it would have been very difficult for us to survive. But because there is atmosphere, these gases can be there and we can survive because of that. We often see changes in the climate, temperature and the amount of rain. This is due to unequal amount of sunlight falling on the earth's surface. These are the simple facts that you have studied somewhere in schooling, right? In the 6th 7th standard, when you used to study environmental science or environment, at that time you have studied this, that there are changes in the climate, there are changes in the temperature, changes in the amount of rainfall. These all occurs because the sunlight does not fall evenly on the whole of the earth. That means the earth's surface has different amount of sunlight. Because of that, the evaporation happens, and because of that the clouds are formed and the rainfall is created. Rainfall helps to decrease the temperature, blah blah blah. That means these things are connected, interconnected, and it's a part of atmosphere. Again, the gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide and water vapor, etc., together make up the total volume of the atmosphere. That means atmosphere is anything that surrounds the earth, right? That means earth ને એક પરત છે, એક લેયર છે, ગેસીસનું લેયર છે, એરનું લેયર છે. એ કઈ પ્રકારના ગેસીસ હોય તો that can be nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide. So many types of gases are present in the atmosphere. Where they live? Then they live in the atmosphere together with the balanced particles. Even the particles of dust is there, dirt is there, and it makes the gaseous atmosphere hazy, and particularly in the troposphere. Troposphere ની અંદર જ્યાં આપણે ઘણી વખત we get to see that the climate is not clear, or maybe the air is not clear around us. It may be due to pollution, it may be due to the presence of many type of dirt, many type of dust particles, and that makes the vision hazy for us. Where this happens, this is said to be the layer of troposphere. We will go ahead to understand atmosphere. Mind you, atmosphere is any layer that surrounds the earth, right? And it is composed of so many gases. Now, this troposphere is nothing but a layer in the atmosphere, right? Just above our earth layer, there is a layer of troposphere, and it goes as much as 12 kilometers away from the earth's surface. That means if we go towards sky from the land or lithosphere 12 kilometers away, the place or the layer that comes up is said to be the troposphere, and this is unavoidable for survival of man and animals. That means as much as or as many as 12 kilometers if we go away from the earth's surface, the survival of human being is possible, because there is presence of all these gases, right? Above that comes the stratosphere. Now after 12 kilometers there is again one more layer, and that is said to be stratosphere, which goes as much as 50 kilometers away. And in this layer there is a substance like sulfate present, which helps to get the rainfall, or which helps to create the rainfall, which helps to form the rains. And this is what we can say, that now if it is asked that where the rain is being formed, we will not say it is formed in sky, we will say it is formed somewhere in stratosphere. Why? Because stratosphere has the substance like sulfate in it, and that helps to form the rain. This is what this layer is known as the stratosphere. Alright, then ozone layer is a part of stratosphere. That means ozone layer is I don't think anyone would have been who are listening to this video lecture or seeing the video lecture are unaware that what is ozone layer. Ozone layer is a protective layer that is in the stratosphere. That means it is troposphere, then the stratosphere. In stratosphere there is ozone layer, and these helps us to protect us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun, right? Ultraviolet rays can be avoided because it helps to absorb the ultraviolet rays. Thus we can say that Earth's atmosphere is a thin layer of gases that floats above our planet's surface. The atmosphere provides us with oxygen to breathe, shelters us from the solar ultraviolet radiations, and warms Earth's surface via the greenhouse effect. You must have heard the term greenhouse effect. Now what is this greenhouse, or what are these greenhouse gases? They are all those types of gases which helps to absorb the heat of the sun. That means whatever the heat of the sun is, right, it gets absorbed here. It helps the sunlight pass through it, but it does not allow the temperature to pass through these gases, and it consumes or it absorbs this sunlight or heat, and that is what is known as greenhouse effect, right? So it catches the heat in it and does not allow it to pass it through it, and more the number of greenhouse gases, what happens is more amount of global warming would be there, more amount of the earth getting warmer would be there, because it does not release the heat. This we will study in the further part of the syllabus. For now what we need to understand is that atmosphere is such a kind of layer that encircles the earth. It is such a layer in which the gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, argon, etc. are present, right? Because this atmosphere is there, we are able to survive, we can live. If there would have not been a atmosphere, it would have been very difficult for us to survive. The atmosphere has got the layers, it has got 5 layers. We are not going in that deep, but we will study the first and second, that means the troposphere. Troposphere is such a kind of layer above the earth's surface. If you go 12 kilometers high, up till there it is troposphere, and the life is possible there because all the important gases are available there. Then comes up till 50 kilometers away from the earth's surface is stratosphere. Stratosphere has got the characteristic of having the sulfate in it, and that helps to form the rain, right? That means the rainfall is possible, or the rain can be formed with the help of sulfate present in this stratosphere. In stratosphere itself, there is ozone layer present. What is the work of ozone layer? It helps to reduce the ultraviolet rays, or it obstructs or protects us from the ultraviolet rays, so that the earth is not getting warm up too much. So these everything which is related to air, gases, and surrounding the earth's surface, we can call it as atmosphere. The first scope or component of environment we are done with. If you go to the next one, it is hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is anything that is related to say water, right? So hydrosphere is a total amount of water on the planet Earth. The hydrosphere includes water that is on the surface of the planet, underground, and in the air. Whatever amount of water is present anywhere, it may be on the surface, it may be underground, underneath the surface of the earth, or it may be say somewhere in the air also, in the form of clouds. Whatever the water is present, everything which consists of water can be considered as hydrosphere. A planet's hydrosphere can be liquid, vapor, or ice. On Earth, liquid water exists on the surface in the form of oceans, lakes and rivers, ponds, streams, snow, ice caps, clouds, etc. We know all of them because it has a portion of water in it, and when it has the portion of water in it, it can be considered as the part of hydrosphere. We all know that water is the lifeline of all the living organisms. At times we can live without money, we can live without any other luxury, but water and air is such a kind of component from the nature that without it the survival is not possible, and that is why water can be considered as one of the lifeline. It may be used for various purposes. Where the water is used, needless to say, it is used for drinking, it is used for household purpose, agriculture, industries. Almost in every aspect of life there is the water playing a very important role. We must know the few facts about water. See, this is very interesting to know. The three facts that I am going to talk right now is very important and is very interesting also. As you all know, we get 97% of supply of water from ocean. Ocean has 97% of the total water on the surface of the earth. Whatever water amount is present on the surface of the earth, it is present in the ocean. That means 97% maximum is present in the ocean, right? Then comes 3%, less 3%. Then these 3%, out of these 3%, 2% of water is blocked up in the ice caps, it is blocked up in the glaciers. That means we cannot use it. And moreover, 97%, yes, we have ample amount of water. Somebody may think like this, that there should not be water crisis because we have so much of water available. 97% of water is there in the sea and sea water. But one must remember that also, that sea water cannot be used. We cannot use sea water, and that is why it is as good as useless water for us, except it brings the rain, right? Next comes up is 2% of water. Then this 2% is being blocked up in the ice caps and glaciers. In the glaciers and the ice caps, that means ice-cladded mountain has this 2% of the remaining water. So what happens is that we hardly get a chance to use this water. Then what are we left out with? We are left out with 1% of the available water that is used by the people in the form of say rivers, lakes and groundwater that is available. Only 1% of water is being used by us. Otherwise, rest of the water, that means 97% of water is sea water, which is directly cannot be used, and moreover the 2% is already blocked in the ice caps and the glaciers. That is why again it is not possible to use this part, right? So it is only we are surviving with 1% of the water only on the earth, that is pure water, or which can be used for drinking purpose. Okay, so hydrosphere covers the 3/4. You must be knowing it's only that 1/4 part is available for us, or it is available to us for the sake of land, in the form of land. Otherwise the rest of the portion is just for covered with water, and which we cannot be, or it cannot be used, right? So hydrosphere covers 3/4 on the earth's surface, and major portion consists of marine ecosystem. That means it is covered with ocean and we can not use it, or it is having its own system, it has its own world in it, and but it is not used for human being purpose or for human purpose. The process of rainfall thus continuously recycles here. Hydrosphere is important. Why? Because rainfall only occurs if there is say water available on the surface of the earth, otherwise it would have not been possible. So we all know that living organism on the earth can survive only if pure drinking water is available, which is now you should be clear that it is only 1% with us. And even if we start wasting this 1%, if you do not value this 1% of water, then the day is not far when life would be very difficult without pure water, right? But increasing pollution, as I just said, increasing pollution and environmental degradation has led to minimum level of water availability. આપણે બગાડ કરીએ છીએ, આપણે પોલ્યુશનનું ધ્યાન નથી રાખતા, આપણે જે પણ industrial extract છે કે જે પણ wastage છે, we keep on disposing in the water surfaces or in the water bodies, then what happens is those or these water cannot be then utilized for any further purpose. This again reduces that 1% of water which is pure and which we can use it for our survival in future. So hydrosphere is again very, very important as far as the component of environment is concerned. Let us go to the third one, that is said to be lithosphere. Lithosphere is rigid, rocky outer layer of the earth consisting of the crust and the solid outermost layer of the upper mantle. It extends to a depth of about 60 miles, that is as much as 100 kilometers, and it is broken into about dozen of separate rigid rocks or plates. That means this is the definition of lithosphere. What is lithosphere? Outer layer of the earth, જે solid layer છે જેના ઉપર આપણે રહીએ છીએ, જીવીએ છીએ, જેના ઉપર એગ્રીકલ્ચર પોસિબલ છે, જેના ઉપર હાઉસિંગ પોસિબલ છે, જેના ઉપર સર્વાઈવલ પોસિબલ છે, એ જે હાર્ડ સબસ્ટન્સ છે અર્થનું, that is what is said to be lithosphere, and it is almost 100 kilometers. The depth is 100 kilometers below. So it means the surface on which we live, we can travel 100 kilometers, or it has 100 kilometers of depth where it can be considered as lithosphere. An outer layer of the solid earth consisting of different minerals, earth crust is in the earth crust. That means wherever we get to see the minerals, we must have heard that for the industry we extract the minerals from the earth. Then these is the area, lithosphere is the area from where we get the minerals and all the say natural elements like soil, stone, sand, gravel, minerals, say organic, that means natural mineral matters, etc. So soil is the prime requirement. Now as we have seen, air is very important, we have seen water is very important, we are going towards the third important element, that is said to be soil, or we call it land. The land is of grave importance to us, because if it would have not been there, we would have not been where we would have lived, right? Again, agriculture would have not been possible, there would have not been there would have been a great question for human beings to live on, and animals also. Again, the construction activity also highly depends on the crust or the say lithosphere or the soil part or the land, and that is why it is very important element of or component of environment also. Industries receive the minerals like iron, copper, zinc, etc. from the hard crust, and again the oil, gases, coal, whatever energy sources we get it from the earth's crust, and that is why that area is known as lithosphere. The lithosphere is the coolest and the most rigid part of the earth. That means it is coolest also, and it is the most rigid. Rigid means it is very strong, tough part of the earth. Thus, the lithosphere is the solid outer section of the earth, which includes earth crust, that means outermost layer of the rock, as well as underlying cool, dense and fairly rigid upper part of the upper covering also. That means it includes the rocky part and the cool, dense part within also. Everything that is under the earth's surface is considered to be the lithosphere. It extends from the surface of the earth to the depth of almost 70 to 100 kilometers, as I told you earlier also. So from the surface, that means from where you are listening to this video lecture or watching the video lecture, from there till 100 kilometers, almost as good as 100 kilometers below, can be considered as lithosphere. Earth is made up of several layers, as atmosphere was made up above the earth's surface of several layers. Here even the lithosphere is made up of several layers. We are not going quite in detail for that, but anyways, the solid part of the earth is considered to be the lithosphere, and the outermost layer is called the earth's crust. That means on which we live, on which we survive. That portion or that layer can be considered as earth's crust, right? There are as many as 92 elements in the lithosphere. There are so many elements present. If you just try to imagine that if we can travel as much as 70 to 100 kilometers below the earth's surface, that means there are so many elements present, and 92 elements already have been detected, out of which only few are in the use, and they make the compounds of almost 200 elements together, right? So that's again a little technical portion. We don't go in depth of those things, but whatever minerals we get, whatever the iron, copper, zinc, or whatever we get it, or whatever the manure we get, or whatever soil we get, that portion is known as lithosphere, right? Which is the third important component of the environment. We are moving towards the last one, and that is biosphere. Biosphere is not any layer, mind you. It is a kind of such an area wherein there is interaction of what? Atmosphere can interact with lithosphere, lithosphere can interact with hydrosphere, hydrosphere can interact again with atmosphere and lithosphere. Where this interaction is possible and where the life is possible, that area is known as biosphere. Thus, the biosphere is the layer of planet of the earth where life exists. જ્યાં જીવ શક્ય છે, જીવન શક્ય છે, એ બધી જ જગ્યાને બાયોસ્ફિયર કહી શકાય. The biosphere encompasses all the zones of the earth in which the life is present, that is entire bioresource of the earth. That means જ્યાં life હાજર છે એ તમામ જગ્યાને આપણે શું કહી શકશું? We can call it biosphere. It develops on the earth since 4.5 billion years through the evolutionary process. Means years, you can see 4.5 billion years. Since then the biosphere has existed, right? At the top of the lithosphere, throughout the hydrosphere, and into the lower atmosphere, life of varied type exists. It's not only human beings and the animals that we can see it on the surface that exist. It is much more beyond that. Means there are so many microorganisms, so many other type of bacteria, and so many other living things also exist. Where they exist, where they can live, where they can have their life, is considered to be the biosphere. This biosphere layer extends over most of the surface of the earth, and it includes the upper layers of the earth crust and the thick layer of the soil that supports the plant life. That means if plant, you have deep rooted tree, then that deep rooted tree, when it is deep rooted or it has got roots in the lower surface of the earth, there also the life exists, and that area can also be considered as biosphere. Means in short, wherever there is interaction between the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere, there exists the biosphere. Moreover, biosphere is the life that exists or where the life exists, that area or that realm is said to be biosphere. The zone of life also extends up to 8 kilometers up to in the atmosphere and as much as 8 kilometers down the depth of the sea. That means under the sea you can go 8 kilometers and their life exists, and above the earth's crust you can go 8 kilometers to 12 kilometers. We have already seen where the troposphere is there, where there is element of oxygen present, there can be the life possible, and where the life is possible it is known as biosphere, right? If we go ahead, living organisms are not distributed uniformly on the globe. That is, few organisms live on the polar ice caps and glaciers, whereas many live on in the tropical rainforest and many more in the other regions of the earth. This is very common thing that every human being or every living organism do not survive together, or they are not present at the same place. They are so very well distributed, right? Some may be in the very cold region, some may be in the rainforest region, the other may be surviving in the desert region, but if with one or the other reason they are surviving, and where they are surviving it is biosphere. The bioresources and their surrounding constitutes thus the biosphere, where the mankind exists and as the most developed creature, where we can live and we interact with the three environmental components, then that can be said as biosphere. Life on the earth requires water, a source of energy, that is sunlight, and various nutrients found in the soil, water and air. Wherever we can find it and we can use this stuff for living is considered as a part of biosphere. Suitable combination of these elements cannot be found high in the upper atmosphere or deep underground. It is only present where biosphere is there. Biosphere gives us the life. બધી જગ્યાએ લાઈફ પોસિબલ નથી, બધી જગ્યાએ જીવવું પોસિબલ નથી, right? પણ જ્યાં જીવન છે, જ્યાં life is possible, that area can be considered as biosphere. Thus, these exists only in the narrow layer near the surface of the earth, and that is why we live on earth, nowhere in the sky or underground the layer of the earth, because life is not possible there. So life is possible, and where the life is possible it is known as biosphere, because there can be interaction between the three other components of the environment. Thus, biosphere for any living organism is that area where it can interact with other element of the environment, and that is atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere easily, where it can interact easily with these environmental components. That area is known as biosphere. So what we have studied today are the scope or component of environment. That is, if you see this diagram, biosphere is in between the triangle, right, and it interacts. The arrows are in and out. That means it interacts with atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere in particular place where the life is there, and that area is known as biosphere. So that's the end of part 3 today, unit number 1, and it's part A, right? We have completed with this much portion today, and we have talked about the scope, components, or we call it as the parts of environment, which are more or less known as atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. When we meet next, we shall be taking up with the other topics. Till then, take care of yourselves and goodbye.